I want to share with you guys something crazy that I've learned this year. And it's something that I always kind of knew, but just never really wanted to admit or accept. If you're building a business or a brand or a reputation or an audience, or you want to get deal flow, you want to get, wealthier, make some more money, content isn't a lever. It's not something on your to-do list. It's not just another task that you need to do. It's the single lever that determines whether or not any of the other stuff that you do works and to how well it works. If you neglect it, or if you just simply do it to tick it off and just do the bare minimum, that will be reflected across everything else that you do. Whereas if you actually invest time into it and do it well, the reverse happens. It lifts the floor on everything else. It's truly the kingmaker. I'm going to share with you guys a story of something crazy that's happened this week. So my brother is a comedian. He's also a lawyer. He's got roughly 15,000 followers on Instagram. He's been literally grinding at it for a decade with virtually no payoff. It's a very hard thing to make it in. Going to open mic nights, hosting shows, entering competitions. He's just been at it, and it's barely paid him back anything. He's barely made a profit at all from it. Hence the reason that he went to university and studied law, so that at least he had something to fall back on. He's extremely articulate and has a very strong command of the English language, and has always been into literature and into writing. One of the things he does as a hobby is he has his own Substack, and he wrote an article on Substack, which literally, in his words, he told me, nobody read it. Like, no one gave a fuck. So what did he do? He condensed it into bullet points, he injected some humor into it, and he riffed it and recorded himself and did about a 90-second video clip. And then he uploaded that to Instagram and TikTok. Within 24 hours, the same content that he'd published in a long-form article that nobody had read had blown to 50,000 views. And a well-known politician from New Zealand with 225,000 followers reposted it on her Instagram story. Within 48 hours from that happening, he's literally being interviewed on Radio New Zealand. And his Instagram followers are going up by hundreds, every single 24 hours. I guess the point is, one piece of content did more for his whole trajectory in 48 hours than 10 years of grinding away at open mic nights. This is just one example, but it got me thinking, the people that we all know, all the people online, all the people you follow, we don't just know them because they're successful, right? We know them because they publish. Like, I look at my feed on Instagram, and I have this warped sense of reality because it seems like everybody's a successful entrepreneur, everybody's driving a Lamborghini in Miami. And I've watched these people go to the moon and just become super successful, move out to Dubai, do all these crazy things. And I sort of realized there's one common denominator across all of these people. And the more successful they get, it's not like they stop doing content. They produce more of it. And so what does that tell you? If someone who's a 7 or 8 or 9-figure entrepreneur is producing more content than you, when no doubt they're running multiple businesses, they've got a crazy schedule, and they're putting way more effort into content, what does that tell you about content? And it really got me thinking, how much time am I putting into content? My attitude towards content was just a thing I didn't want to do. I had so much mental resistance to write an article for LinkedIn. I just fucking hated it and just was like, I saw it recurring on my to-do list, and I just tried to get rid of it as quick as possible. I'd dump an idea into ChatGPT, get it to spit out an article, quickly, proofread and polish it, and then I'd just hit post and fucking shut the app. That is not going to work. And that's just simply the completely wrong mindset. Like, if you're in business, how do you expect to generate recurring revenue, new business, clients? Content creates likability. Likability actually gets you replies. Replies and connections create deal flow and bring in new business and revenue. And that's what actually builds the business. And I thought about what happened with my brother this week, and it's still ongoing. We don't even know how far this is going to snowball. I mean, this has all literally just happened in the last 48 hours. But I thought about the half-assed effort that I've put into content all year, and how that one video, really, he probably spent 5 hours researching and writing up that article in the first instance, and then probably several more hours on top of it, crafting it into a clip and then publishing the clip. It was probably an 8-hour exercise. In 8 hours, if we go back 3 months, I would do a content sprint for LinkedIn, and I would draft 16 articles and film 8 clips. So in other words, 8 hours effort for my brother gets one piece of content. 8 hours effort for me gets a whole bunch of half-baked beige crap that I'm honestly not proud of at all. I mean, I didn't even want to publish it. There's something wrong with that. That's the whole mindset thing that for me has totally flipped. And just recently I've started doing outbound sales again, literally sending DMs to strangers to try and grow my new business. The hardest part of all of that is getting a stranger to actually respond to your DM. You'll see a typical reply rate of only about 10 to 20% if you're doing well. If you suck and your messaging and tone's off, it goes even lower than that. When someone has seen you before, that changes everything. You're no longer a stranger. You're that guy that they know or have become familiar with that's now sent them a message, and that's a totally different opening position. Content warms the battlefield. People don't reply to cold strangers. I know that I don't. I reply to familiar faces. I mean, think about it. How much more likely are you to respond to someone that you've seen, you know who they are, you like what they're doing, you respect it, and then they hit you with a message, as opposed to some complete fucking random? And for me, since I plan to scale my business purely through outbound sales, I'm not going to run paid ads. I'm literally going to be reaching out to people cold and trying to pitch them, trying to start a conversation and see if I can help them out. Building that trust and rapport is everything. And so for me, it's absolutely critical. It's like the highest leverage thing I can possibly do with my time. And it's why I've decided to go all in, basically. Earlier in the year, when I was posting on LinkedIn for the first time, I was filtering myself. I was trying to sound professional. I was aware that it was a professional audience, it was a corporate audience, and I wanted to be cautious with my words. I didn't want to post anything that would provoke anybody. And accordingly, the shit I posted, it was just bland. It felt beige. I didn't like it. I wasn't proud of it. I'd look at the post and I'd just be like, meh. That was how I felt. I was just like, this is so meh. I mean, it's so LinkedIn, because that's the whole vibe. Like, everything on LinkedIn is just fucking beige. That was how I felt about it. But that content ultimately performed poorly, apart from a few random breakouts, and I couldn't really identify the pattern that made things do well. But I think it was just down to algorithmic luck. And more recently, I've started to give less of a shit about what I post. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm trying to be more myself. And I've sort of developed a bit of an internal compass for, if I draft something and it doesn't make me feel anything, I don't smirk because I know that this shit's real, but like no one's really said it, or I don't think it's funny, or I don't think it's sharp. If it doesn't make me feel anything at all, if I just look at it and I just have a blank face, well, guess how the audience is going to perceive it? The exact same. Like, if it doesn't make me feel anything, why is anyone else going to give a fuck about it, right? So I've developed this compass, and I've started shipping things that I wouldn't have even dreamed of posting 6 months ago, because I thought, oh shit, this is going to provoke someone, or this could reflect badly on me. As it turns out, perhaps unsurprisingly in hindsight, the posts that make me feel something, the ones I'm a bit more concerned about, like, should I even be posting this? Those ones actually do way better. If it doesn't make you feel anything when you're about to post it, no one else is going to feel anything either. And really, I've realized, every meaningful upgrade that I'm building over the next 12 months depends on content at the center. It accelerates outbound. Every single lever in business is so much easier when people already know who you are. Outbound, sales, hiring, partnerships, it all moves faster on the back of content. I'm not posting for vanity or just because I want to grow an audience. I'm posting because it's the only lever that multiplies across everything else that I'm doing. That's why content truly is the kingmaker. Content builds familiarity, familiarity builds trust, and trust builds deal flow. And once deal flow starts to compound, the whole game changes. And that's why content sits at the center of my entire strategy now, not as a decoration, but as the engine that drives everything else forward. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. I drop one like this every 48 hours, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.